Ian, tell me a story about Tetris.
I suck at it really bad.
What's your score?
6,078 so far. No, actually not doing too bad.
Yeah, for a little bitch.
Well, I never had one when I was a kid. I got to make up for lost time.
I was such a
It's
boring boy living in a cruel world because it's easy come.
You know, everything was in
easy
black and
go.
white then, or chroma key.
It was black and white because that's all they had.
That's all they had. That's right.
So Ian.
We had green. We had green and black.
Well, green and black on the GB.
That's right.
What is that, a DMG 01?
Sure.
I think that's what the Game Boy's designation is.
Oh, really? Is that what it is?
Yeah, for sure. What's up, folks? Warp Factor time. High five.
High five. Fist bump.
Got Ian.
Yep, I'm here.
Ian's here in the mess hall. You got anything good over there?
No.
What would
Nachos. Nachos and wings.
I heard
and
that
beer.
they have Domino's.
Domino's. Domino's?
Domino's Pizza.
Oh. Mm.
But what they really should get is Daddy Green's Pizza.
Daddy Green's Pizza. Who's Daddy Green?
Oh, brother. You're telling me you have not seen The Last Dragon.
I think I've seen it once.
With the Shogun?
Oh, yeah.
Direct to your feet says Daddy Green's Pizza.
I've seen it through once.
Seventh Heaven. Come on, man.
Yeah.
All right, so what are we talking about today, Ian?
We're going to talk about the Orville.
The Orville, not the Oval.
Oval. The Oval.
But the O is
It
an
depends.
oval.
It depends on where you're from. It's the Oval.
In the Orville's logo there, the O actually is an Orville.
Orville. It's an Orville.
It's an Orville Oville. So this is something we've been meaning to talk about, unfortunately, between scheduling and sicknesses, which I still have some sickness.
Yeah, I did too.
We've been late to this party, but through 5 episodes, which Ian and I just watched episode 5 here before the show. What do you think of the Orville?
I love it. I'm really enjoying it. I really think that it's what people have been wanting. It reminds me a lot of Galaxy Quest. You know, it's got that. It's Star Trek. It's Next Generation meets Firefly with the humor in it. I think it's got the right recipe. I really do. Everybody that I know really seemed to enjoy. I just said it. What was the name of that movie again? Help me out here, Marshall.
I don't know movies.
Galaxy Quest.
Oh yes, Galaxy Quest.
Yeah, so it's very much everybody that I know like Galaxy Quest, and I think Seth MacFarlane really kind of took that recipe and made it his own, which
I think. And here's the thing. I mean, I don't know if it's absolutely inspired. I mean, it feels like
who
Galaxy
knows where
Quest,
it's inspired from.
But I know Seth MacFarlane's a huge Star Trek fan. I have all the Blu-rays, and he has on the Star Trek: The Next Generation Blu-rays some director commentary with some of the on specific episodes.
Yeah,
I think there's at least 2 of them with him on there. He's a big fan of the show, and he understands Star Trek from a fan perspective.
And that's really important.
I think it's super important.
It's really important.
And I think it's translating really well into the series, although, you know, I think the pilot was not the best. But
yeah, but what pilot is just kick-ass all the way through? And
well, I would say that the Deep Space Nine pilot is really good.
Okay.
But that's my personal opinion. I've heard people say they hate it. But I think the DS9 pilot was particularly well done.
I think a good measure of the show is if you're still watching after episode 3, then
you're doing all right.
You're doing good.
Yeah.
You're doing good. And it, you know, I saw the first episode, and I wanted to see the second one, and you know, the humor in it is just great.
It definitely adds a nice dynamic to it, and makes it feel more like it reminds me of how, like, if Ian and I were on the Orville and we were driving that thing, we'd be like the 2 guys up front. Totally.
The 2 dudes up front.
That'd be us.
What was that in episode 4? What was that guy do when he killed that ship? He was all booyah or something like that. Boom!
Yeah, he was super happy with himself.
That was awesome. I love that. I mean, this show is going to have some one-liners, catchphrases that are just going to become instant classics, I think. Yeah. You know, as long as Fox keeps their grubby paws off of it and doesn't do something stupid like they did with Firefly.
And that's the thing about Fox is
unpredictable.
It's Fox, and they're probably going to mess it up.
Well, they're
somehow I could just see them totally hosing it down.
Seth MacFarlane has already said that, you know, he's expecting a second season, but you know, you can't count your chickens until they hatch, right? So you gotta you can't hold your breath because you never know what's going to happen.
Well, you might die if you hold your breath
too long.
Yeah. So
you start turning blue.
Here's the interesting thing, and you know, we're just gonna put this up on the screen here. Can you see that, Ian?
Yeah.
This is the Rotten Tomatoes score, and this is something that was going around the internet the other day. As you can see, there appears to be a bit of a disconnect between reviewers and the audience.
Well, and when
do you see this? You know, the only time I've seen anything at all kind of like this was Ghostbusters, but it was the opposite way around.
Right.
Right, where
you mean the reboot?
Yeah, the reboot with the 2016 Ghostbusters. Right. We're not going to call it the Girl Ghostbusters. We'll just call it the 2016 Ghostbusters. Where the reviews were positive and the audience all thought it was shit.
Yeah, which I agree with.
And we see that also with Discovery, and we'll talk about that on the next show, talk about Star Trek Discovery. But this is really weird. Who the hell is watching this? Yeah, the guys that are getting paid to write the reviews, are they watching the same show as the rest of the audience?
What you know, I haven't read the reviews.
What is this?
I don't understand it, but
I don't think that they find it funny, and they think it's just basically a copy of Next Generation, like a clone.
It's not, though. I mean, it has
in ways it's got the feeling.
It's got the feel of Next Generation with the comedy of Seth MacFarlane meets Firefly. I mean, it's not Firefly, but it's got that quick wit humor and
that added just humor that sits in certain
it's there.
Areas. Yeah,
and it makes it fun, lighthearted, and yet they have some really.
And I would say, while in Next Generation you had your funny parts. Right. On occasion, you'd have Data say something funny like, "Have you noticed how your boobs have started to perk up?" Stuff like that. But it's not it's not like casual humor that like you would have, you know, with your buddies.
Yeah.
And these people all work together basically in an office, although it's a spaceship, but it's like an office.
That's the bridge. Everybody's working in the same close proximity to each other.
Right. And so like Ian and I used to work together, and we'd sit in our little cubes and we'd BS around.
We had banter.
And we would still do our job, and I'd get up and harass Ian a little bit or throw something at him. You know, I mean, that's life. So it's nice to, in my opinion, to kind of see some of that. It makes it more...
It makes it more realistic.
Yeah.
It definitely makes it more realistic, and you know, it does. It. I really think this series will go far if Fox allows it to.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what the ratings have been. I know that after they moved it to Thursday, I think it saw a dip because
sure. I mean, it's a change.
It premiered on Sundays. I have had a hard time watching it on Thursdays just because I'm usually busy on Thursday evenings. Like,
yeah, but most people can, you know, they DVR it or whatever, and you know the DVRs don't they still?
I don't know.
They still capture. Still capture ratings.
I'm sure, but you know, the bread and butter are the people that tune in live for that kind of thing because they're not going to be fast forwarding through ads.
Well, and I've been catching on Hulu, so and I know those. Okay. I know Hulu. They do. You know, they capture ratings through that as well because, you know, it's timed, right? The episodes are only on there for so long.
Oh, is that how it works? I don't have Hulu, so I...
Yeah, so Hulu, you know, I don't know. I think it just depends on the show, but the episodes are only on there for so long.
Look at this, actually. I'm just looking at this. If you look if you look over here, say most popular TV on Rotten Tomatoes. Look at that, Star Trek Discovery. Hey, let's just click on this, Ian. So
What?
So the critics give it an 87. The audience score has actually gone up.
It has gone up.
The last time I looked at this, it was like in the 30s.
It was horrible.
So that's improved. Maybe after episode 3.
That's probably has something to do with it. Yeah.
I'm thinking so. And like I said, we'll do a separate discovery.
I mean, even comparing the two shows, I mean, they both came out about the same time. It's hard not to compare them.
Well, and they're the same genre, and they're essentially, supposedly, targeting the same audience.
Same audience, supposedly.
And from what I've seen online, most people are preferring the Orville.
I prefer the Orville.
I prefer it as well, so far. Now,
So far.
I'll continue to watch Discovery. We'll see how it develops, but just looking at it, it seems
not only that, but the Orville's on
TV.
On TV, on an actual network.
It's
you don't have to pay to see the
paywall.
rest of the episodes.
Correct.
You know,
what they should have done, in my opinion, if they wanted, what they should have done is just license it to Netflix for everything.
Yeah.
Like that's what they did for the rest of the world. It's only us here in the U.S. that have to pay for the CBS All Access.
Really? Okay.
I don't want to pay another $9 for another subscription fee. These companies need to understand that as consumers, we only have so much money to spend on subscriptions, and you start adding $9, $10 up a month, and all of a sudden you're in hundreds of dollars in subscriptions a month.
Well, you know, and what they should have done, if that was the case, is they should have aired it for a while, at least half a season, if not the whole season. You know, get people hooked, and then, you know, then at that point, then they can change it over to a paid subscription. It's still kind of a jerk move, but you know, just after the first episode, airing the first episode, and then the rest of it being paid.
And the first episode being what it was. Which was essentially a open-ended cliffhanger.
CBS set it up to fail. They really did.
I don't know what they're doing, and I have a big problem with CBS for other reasons as well. Namely, the content ID flags that they give you, even doing a show like this, where we have utilized some clips of Next Generation for conversational purposes, commentary, as Ian has been recently watching Star Trek The Next Generation for the first time, and getting flagged for stuff like that, which is obviously within fair use, is very frustrating as well on that level. And then to see them release a show like Discovery, and to have it supposedly be prime timeline, but look like Kelvin timeline, and to have so many mistakes within the time frame, it just seems like they
Nothing
don't care.
Nothing like pissing off your target audience.
Well, it's just like they don't care about the quality of product they're
apparently
producing. You know, they don't care about the core content.
We're getting off topic though. We should be talking about Orville,
and we should be.
Let's talk about the ship. Do you like the design of the ship?
I like it. It reminds me of the NSEA Protector.
NSEA Protector.
Yeah, here, I'll see if I can find a picture.
Okay. I like the front half of the ship. I am not a fan of the three fins, the drives. To me, it kind of looks like one of those. It kind of reminds me of like an alligator clip or binder clip or something. Like all I want to do is like squeeze the back end of it, and the front end kind of opens up or something. I do like the way it looks overall, but I'm just not a fan. Is that it?
That's the NSEA Protector from Galaxy Quest.
You think it looks like that?
It reminds me of this.
Okay.
I don't think it looks like it. I think it reminds me of it.
I see.
So that and the uniforms that they wear
I like the uniforms. I like the different insignias they have based on the roles that they play, engineering or whatever.
It's like Star
science.
Trek.
Yeah.
Now, in the new Star Trek, it seems that they've got some coloring on the outsides, or the sides of the uniform, along with the insignia of science or whatever on their badge. Which I can't remember what side it's on. I think it's the left side. Is it the left side? I don't remember.
Yeah, it's on the left side.
So, yeah, the Orville uniforms I think look fine.
Well, even the instrumentation, I think they've done a good balance between CG stuff, like the amount of CG that they have in it with their technology, and just their regular props. Like, it's not overly done with CG.
It's like Star Trek.
It's very much like Next Generation, like even the first,
where they would utilize, practical effects and some, especially towards the end of the series, where they'd have more CG type stuff. But even some of the Orville shots of the ship are practical models. They're not all CG unless it's doing some crazy maneuvering or something. Right. It's been said,
and it helps. It helps. It makes it. I don't know. It just gives it a more genuine feel.
Yeah.
It feels like if we're still comparing Discovery, Discovery's full of CG.
But it's well done CG.
It is. It looks nice, but it's almost
some of the CG in the Orville has been a little bit campy looking, like little. You could tell it's like.
But the story writing and actors have the acting has really made up for that. Regardless,
I agree. I mean,
I just overlooked that campiness.
Of course, and I know what I'm watching. I'm not expecting, I'm not expecting the same production level out of the Orville as a Star Trek series.
I like that they're adding in pop culture, like Kermit the Frog and what was the last one we just watched that had, they were watching Seinfeld on the big screen.
On the view screen?
On the view screen.
That's a way to utilize the ship screen.
Using work materials to watch. What were they? Were they eating popcorn or drink? They had drinks and stuff.
Well, towards the beginning, the one guy was like, "Oh, can I have soda on the bridge or whatever?" And they were like,
yeah.
And he was like sitting there slurping on his drink.
Do they? They have cup holders too, don't they?
Oh, do they?
They have cup. I think they have.
Well,
cup
you should
holders.
have cup holders, man. You get thirsty on the bridge.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, if you think about it, on all the Star Trek series, no one drinks anything except the captain.
Does he?
And he gets his tea.
Oh, right.
You know.
Well, it never brings it on the bridge, though.
Unless they're in 10 forward. It's like, no drinks beyond this point. You know? Like, there's nowhere to put them.
My little parched captain.
At least Seth MacFarlane was thinking about, where do you put your drinks in the future? Well, in a cup holder.
In a cup holder, next to you.
Right.
Next to you. I like their props. Their props are even more practical than what I've seen in Next Generation.
Well, and some of the stuff, they've got like a little tricorder looking thing, which looks pretty cool. Yeah. That's the one that kind of sticks out to me is the tricorder, and they have like phasers. They
have handhelds, and the phasers look more like a gun than the Dustbusters in Next Generation.
Right. Well, it is. This is a lot later.
Yeah.
Was it like 30 years since? Wait, Next Generation was 87, and it's 2017.
Yeah, so it's a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while. They've had time.
They've had time to update their prop making skills.
They've had time.
I think I'm a fan of the Orville.
I mean,
Discovery, I'll give it. We've had 5 episodes of Orville where we've only seen 3 of Discovery so far. So, we'll give Discovery a chance to find its footing. We'll see what happens.
Well, and that's the other thing that we talked about. With Discovery, we don't really remember the characters' names. Where we're starting to get characters that we're liking and enjoying in Orville more.
Yep.
And I don't know if that's because of the number of episodes difference. I mean, we're talking a 2-episode difference between the two, but the characters on Discovery really haven't had the impact like they have on the Orville.
And to be fair, I mean, they've literally their first 2 episodes were basically, I mean, they're different. It's a different crew after those first 2 episodes. Spoilers, if anyone hasn't seen that. And you have a person here or there that was present from the old ship, but so maybe that's part of the reason why.
So maybe some change up.
Well, I mean, what I'm saying is the actual crew of the Discovery, we've only seen them in 1 episode.
Yeah, and really there's only about 2 characters that have continued on through, right?
3, I think.
Is it 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but we haven't gotten to know really this new crew really. We've been following the one girl.
Right.
So we know her.
The first
mutineer.
The first officer.
Musketeer.
I don't even remember her name. Do you remember her name?
Musketeer? Yeah, Michael Burnham.
Michael, yeah.
I thought that was... When I first heard her name, I thought, did I hear that wrong?
Yeah, right.
They say Michael?
So if you had to pick we talked about this. If you had to pick a favorite character in Orville, who would you pick?
I like the pilot guy.
Yeah.
But the sad thing is, I don't remember what his name is.
I don't know what his... I don't remember his name
But
either.
I can remember, Isaac the robot. He's probably my second favorite.
Isaac the robot. I like the
android. He's not really a robot.
What's her name that opens the jar of pickles that like breaks through walls and stuff? I can't remember her name either.
As we were saying, we could remember their names, and now we can't remember.
But the characters are more, in my opinion, they're more memorable. Because
it follows very, very similar traits to the Star Trek characters.
Right.
Each character kind of had their own thing.
Right.
Like Troy sucks.
That was the sign of the times. That's the way it was back in the late 80s, early 90s. It just, you had to touch on the touchy-feely part of it, the political correctness. And some of the things I didn't mind with her in it. It created a dynamic, but I think I'm starting to agree with you the more and more I watch Next Generation as she's
annoying.
A little bit, yeah. Anyway.
But she's not as bad as her mom.
No.
And I mean, she served her purpose in Star Trek as being the computer voice, but as Troy's mother, I can't watch those episodes. I can't.
No?
I can't.
Okay.
If I die and go to hell, that's all that'll be on TV there. Hopefully I don't go to hell.
Yeah. So, one thing I noticed, the Orville has windows on the bridge. You can actually see out the window. I like that. I mean, in Next Generation, that was my gripe earlier on was, they have all this technology and it's great that they have a view screen, but technology breaks. There's things that happens. What if they lose power? I mean, how many times they lose power in Next Generation?
Oh, yeah, or like when Shinzon blows the bridge up.
Right.
In Nemesis, which
you got to have windows. You got to be able to have manual things.
That gave them a window.
They have wraparound windows, and they even have a skylight,
They have the window above them, yeah.
Well.
In Next Generation.
Because, that does them a lot of good.
Well, you're in space. What's there to look at?
You still have to dock. You still have... Again, dude, what if you have failure? That's the whole point of...
Okay, but listen, if you're driving a big ship, do you really need to look out the window?
Yes.
You could use your sensors.
What if they're not working?
Well, then you don't go anywhere. You stop and you fix them. You don't fly around blind. It's like, do you walk around with your eyes closed, Ian? And your hands tied behind your back?
Sometimes.
Those would be your sensors, You've got your feelers, right? And your visuals. And your feelers. And if these were tied behind your back and your eyes closed and you're walking around, you're probably not going to have a good time.
Anyway, I think they did good with adding windows to the Orville. I even like the shuttlecraft. The design of the shuttlecraft
it's very nice. Space Odyssey 2001.
Space Odyssey, yeah.
Or reminds me kind of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah, yeah.
But that was very much making fun of Space Odyssey. So.
Well, hey, it works, right? It all kind of comes around, I'm sure Seth MacFarlane watched all those shows too. So.
And here's the thing. So I'm sure
had to have some inspiration there.
It's all parody of the. Well, it's not even really a parody because it's definitely trying to be its own thing. As an homage to, it's like the cover bands that you see that like perform like some really awesome 80s tunes.
Right.
And they do a great job kind of thing. That's kind of what I see Orville as, but to Star Trek. It's like a cover band for Star Trek, even though a cover show.
It's an homage.
An homage, yes.
An homage.
Like Galaxy Quest was.
Yeah, exactly. Did a great job, I think.
Yeah.
And they're doing a great job.
I think it's fantastic. I'm enjoying it thoroughly. I hope it gets additional seasons and is able to get more budget and
they're already bringing in big name actors and William Riker doing direction, and didn't they talk about Patrick Stewart coming on later?
I had heard that he will have a cameo or a guest appearance. I don't know if that's true or not.
I don't either. Remains to be seen, right?
Yeah, I don't know. If that happens, dude, the fans are going to go nuts.
And I think he's doing everything right, in my opinion.
Well, he's catering to his audience.
Right.
Which is smart, and that's how you get people to watch your show.
Right.
Like, especially with a built-in fan base. Like, CBS has pissed the opportunity away, in my opinion, to capture the core audience. And I think in their minds, they're like, screw it, we don't need you. We'll make a new audience, I guess.
As long as Fox keeps their distance and allows Seth to do his creative...
And plays episodes in order?
Yeah, well, sure. Sure.
Isn't that what killed Serenity?
Yes, it did. Not Serenity, Firefly.
Firefly, excuse me.
It didn't help things because it made it a little confusing, but... Don't they have? I think Fox has a different set of executives than they did back then too. So, I'm hoping that's not going to be a factor this time around. But, history has a tendency to repeat itself too.
Well, again, I mean, if the viewership's there, and I know Star Trek fans because I am one, and we're dedicated people, we will do our best to support the things that we like, and if you're doing a good job and it's enjoyable, people are going to watch it.
Absolutely.
And that should make the execs over at Fox hopefully happy enough to continue to invest in the show.
Right. Well, if it gets ratings and it pays the bills, then why not keep going with it?
Man, they have it on a Thursday night. I don't know if Thursday night's like really a prime time night for TV.
No, but if it gains notoriety and popularity, then they may move it again. Why wouldn't they?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's funny because I think a Sunday night spot is perfect, except it would be competing directly against Discovery, although Discovery's not on TV anymore.
Well, the thing is that we're getting into fall too. So fall is prime time for shows to start up. So they're going to put their biggest and baddest out there, and Orville is not there yet. It's gaining. It's popular, but not as popular as others.
It's a fledgling.
Yeah,
show.
Exactly.
It's got an opportunity to do great things, I think.
It really does.
It kind of reminds me of like Big Bang Theory. Like when that show started, it was kind of underrated and kind of flew under the radar for a while. Now it's one of the probably biggest shows on.
Yeah, they're on their
TV.
11th season this year.
Yeah, which is crazy.
It's wonderful. They've actually made it past the point where Friends only had 10 seasons, and that was a huge deal in the 90s.
Well, most shows would die after 7 seasons.
Right.
I know all the Star Trek series except for the original series, which went 3, and Enterprise, which went 4. All the other ones, Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, had 7.
Yeah.
So, and that seemed to be kind of like if you got 7 seasons, you're pretty much done after that.
Right. Well, I mean, people stop. It gets a little old and whatnot, but I think they can do it. I mean, the Orville has the potential. Has the potential. And the nice thing about it, when I talk about the humor and stuff that's in it, which is great, but they also have a lot of great stories that they're telling and has some seriousness with it as well. So,
well, they're trying to make it its own thing.
Well,
which I appreciate that it's not just ha ha ha, we're making fun of Star Trek spoofiness. It's kind of that, and it
has some
also
depth.
Got some depth. Exactly, it's its own thing.
Right.
Which I think is neat and would be fun to explore. A little bit more about how this, world or universe or whatever you want to say has been set up, like how these people live.
Well, and it's great too. I mean, they can go anywhere with it. Yes, it follows along a Star Trek kind of path, but they can go anywhere with it. They have I forgot what's his name, the male alien on there. He had an egg. He laid an egg.
You know what that reminded me of, actually? When Bortus lays an egg, or he's warming the egg, or what, I don't know. I think the other guy laid the egg, but then he was warming it.
Yeah.
Or I don't know how that works.
Incubating it.
Yeah, with his butt cheeks.
I laid an egg.
And they only piss once a year. I wonder when that's coming up. He's just like stops. It's in the middle of a bath. He's like, I have to use the bathroom.
I have to pee now.
Yeah, I have to pee now. That's probably how he'd say it.
I have to pee now. Then it's going to take him a half an hour or an hour to pee.
I have to take a wicked yes. Yeah, it'll take 3 days to pee.
Yeah. Well, he did that with the egg, right?
Well,
all of a sudden, there's an egg that he's got to incubate, and he's got to take time off the bridge to do it.
For a month.
Yeah.
It took him a month to hatch that thing.
He didn't tell the captain this was coming up.
Hey, by the way, we're planning to, procreate, and when that happens, I'm going to have to sit on a fucking egg for a month.
He didn't argue.
Ed Mercer. What? I think that name is not good.
I don't like the name.
I don't like the captain's name.
I don't like Ed. Ed just seems. I don't know. I don't know why he chose that.
Every person, no offense to anyone named Ed, but every one of you people that I met named Ed have been not smart people.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It doesn't seem to fit very well.
There you go. Yo, Eddie.
Yeah. Doesn't
seem... Hey, Ed. Well, I knew Eddie in school, and he was a moron, so kind of set my view on how I view Eddies from now on.
Well, I don't know.
Ed Mercer. Well, he could have just been Seth MacFarlane.
Yeah, could have just
Captain
been.
Seth.
Captain. Well, that doesn't even work very well either.
Captain MacFarlane.
Captain Mac.
Bad? Captain Mac.
Captain Mac.
Mac Captain. I don't know. Ed Mercer though sounds.
Well, I'm curious to find out what our viewers think of this show. I'd really like to hear what your thoughts are. What do you like? What don't you like? Is it working for you? What do you think? Where do you think this is going to go?
Yeah, you think it'll get more than one season?
I really hope so.
I hope so too.
I hope so. And how do we know how many episodes are going to be in this season?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I don't even know how you find out. Maybe check IMDb.
Maybe. I don't know. It's like what Next Generation had around 23, 24 episodes a season.
Yep.
But, the trend that we're seeing is, 10, sometimes even 7 episodes a season.
And that to me is disappointing.
It is. You're just getting a taste.
We're getting higher production value out of a lot of these shows, but man, I can't tell a story in 7 episodes.
You can't. You really can't.
I'm very. I'm mostly criticizing Game of Thrones.
I do have to agree. You're looking back at some of the Next Generation seasons, there was probably a handful of episodes that were fluff, right? You just kind of glazed over them.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, you're not going to knock it out of the park every show. And you're going to have that with pretty much every episodic show.
Sure.
Let's see what we got here. I'm going to see if this might tell us the amount of...
Episodes
in here. Let me zoom out a little bit so this will show up a little better. Ian filled the dead air, you motherfucker. Oh, what happened?
Did everything break?
It's all frozen, dude.
Oh no!
It's frozen.
That's all right. Well, we can find out later.
Stupid website freezes. Why does it do that, Ian?
Because it's loading, double-click ads for you.
Yeah, it's loading all the viruses onto my machine as I sit here talking about Orville.
That's right.
Orville. That's what you got your credit cards, bitch.
That's what IMDb does. Is
the internet in some ways is almost non-functional. let's see if it'll work in IE here. I'm anti-Chrome.
What?
I'm not a Chrome user if I can avoid it.
Why?
Because I'm not a huge fan of the Google machine there, pal.
Oh. You're a purist.
And actually the Edge browser is good in my opinion, except for when it's not. Kind of like my cold.
Is it working?
Yeah.
Do we have an answer?
I'm looking. I'm looking.
Negatory, Morning Glory.
Hey, you keep your mouth shut.
Hey, you told me to fill the dead air.
Well, you should be filling it with useful info.
I don't have any. That's the problem.
Isn't it funny that on here you've also got Star Trek Discovery? It's like, do you like Pepsi or Coke? I hate Coke because I like. What is it they say in Wedding Singers? Like, I like Coke because I'm old.
Oh, right. Because that's when they were talking about new Coke, right?
Yeah, I like old Coke because I'm old. I don't like new Coke.
Yeah. Do you remember when that came out?
I was alive then.
Do you remember it?
What I remember was Crystal Pepsi when that came out.
But that was 90s.
Yeah, that was not. Well, I was a little more grown up by then. Yeah,
you were more aware.
I was more aware of branding.
Did you find it? Come on.
No, it just says the next episode is 6.
Yeah. So we don't know, do we?
I'm sure we could find out somewhere.
Do more research.
Let me see if I click on this one.
Well, hey, maybe even Seth MacFarlane is a little hesitant to.
No, they're listed. Here we go.
Oh, did you find it?
13.
13 episodes.
There's 13 episodes listed on IMDb. So okay. I don't know if that means that there will be 13, but there's at least 13, and that is okay.
They're planning on 13.
And I would remember that, like, watching Star Trek even, they would take like a hiatus for a while. Like, you'd have like a bunch of episodes and then they'd take like a month off and you get a couple weeks of repeats and then they'd start up with new ones again a little later. So that's kind of, although this is definitely
probably around the holidays, everybody, all the networks and stuff take a break for the holidays.
I miss that, man. And we got long seasons for shows, and yeah, not all of them were great, but at least most of the time you had something new to watch from your favorite show.
Right.
And, it's disappointing when you get, okay, so there's 13 episodes. That's awesome. I'll take it, But then once I'm done with these, I got to wait like another year at least. And sometimes there's delays with things, or there could be a writer's strike.
Well, and we've also come, kind of full... we have Netflix that we could binge watch a whole season now. They'll put out a whole season on Netflix.
Yeah, but the whole seasons are 7 episodes.
Well, that's true.
I was pretty mad about that with Voltron. I think I said that last podcast. My Voltron show went from, I think, 14.
Hey, they just released another season, right? Season 4 of Voltron. Yeah, I got the notification on that. Yep.
Oh, okay. Well, if they release them in quick succession, that's not so bad. I thought I was going to have to wait another year. But if
and I think that's what they're experimenting with right now. They're doing short seasons, but more often.
I mean, a season to me takes place over the course of a year, and if you're going to have multiple seasons released in a year, that seems weird to me. But I'm old, and I like old Coke.
Yeah.
So... Get
off my lawn!
Yeah, damn kids, get off my grass.
Get off my
sons of bitches. Just messing around. Yeah, whatever they do, I guess. All I can do is sit here and I can complain about it on the internet, but don't help anything. So all I can do is take it.
Hey, this is a show about opinions, isn't it?
Yeah, ours.
Our
yours.
Yeah.
If you're watching, there's this whole comment section down here that you can go ahead and voice your opinion on Ian's haircut. It looks nice. You look handsome.
Hey, thanks.
He just had it cut today.
Yep.
Could you show me which hair specifically was cut?
This one right here.
Okay.
Right there.
Well, I can't see it because your fucking hand's in the way.
Right. Well, hey, I'm losing the hair, so...
Well, listen,
it's
pal.
very important when they get one done,
Listen, some of us are there.
Yeah.
All right?
I guess I shouldn't be complaining, right?
I mean, you made it to 40, and you still have most of it.
I still have a decent amount, yeah.
Yeah. Some of us were 25.
It's kind of starting to fall down my face, though.
By 26... we looked like a cue ball. I looked like the guy in Smallville.
Yeah.
The Lex Luthor guy. Anyways. That's it.
Yep.
So love us, hate us. Especially Ian. I mean, I love Ian. Ian's a nice man.
Hey, this is a show of opinions, right?
Did you just say that? Is
Yeah,
there a fucking echo in here? Did somebody hit the repeat button on Ian? Anyway, we'll be back here. We're going to do another one for Discovery next, and we'll talk about that. And since we're laggers, by the time that one comes out, there'll be at least 1, maybe 2 episodes of Discovery since then. Maybe we could do a quick update in between or something, Ian. We'll see.
Sure.
All right, so let us know what you think in the comments. Like the video, subscribe to the Warp Factor if you do enjoy us. We're gonna try and right the ship, right, Ian?
Yep.
And do more regular videos.
Yep. Hopefully
that would be nice. Okay, and Ian says he loves your mom.